Hello, today in this video we're going to be tasting some Melon Kabusecha from Mei Leaf. We have some information here about the tea. You see it's bright and fruity, shade-grown green from the southern tip of Japan, umami-rich barley broth, arugula, watermelon, strawberries, and cucumber. So this is going to be very interesting. The cool part is they give you some instructions on how to do the Gong Fu brewing and the Western style brewing. So if we take a look at the Gong Fu real quick, they're going to give us the amount we need, how long we're supposed to do it for the first infusion. When we do subsequent infusions, we're told to add about 20 seconds, and we can get about 5 brews out of doing it this style. The Western way, we'll get less brews, we'll get about 2, and we'll use 1 cup and brew it for about 120 seconds or 2 minutes. And up at the top left there, you see the water temperature, 80 degrees Celsius or 175 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to follow these directions as closely as I can, and we'll see how it goes. Hashtag tea drunks. I thought that was pretty awesome. We'll get this open, and I want you to see what this tea looks like. So it's pretty thin, it's pretty fine, and this is going to be fun to experiment with. First, we'll do the Western style brewing, which required the 5 grams of this tea. I'll add a tiny bit more just to see how accurate we can be. And then all we do from here is we warm up some water, 175 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll put this tea in the filter, in the tea basket, and once the water's up to temp, all we do really is steep it for 2 minutes. And as we remove the filter, you can see it's a bit cloudy, it's a bit dusty. I'm sure some of this will settle, but the green is pretty interesting. It looks kind of pale. Here's what it looks like from the top. It's a very pleasant looking green. And this is what it looks like after having been brewed. I can brew this one more time. Let's give it the taste test. And I was expecting this to be kind of strong, kind of rich, but it was actually pretty light. It went along with those more fruity, more bright flavors that were listed on the front of the bag. And so I'm trying to figure out here kind of like what I'm sensing, but overall, it was a little bit less intense than I thought it was going to be. So let's go ahead and get into the Gong Fu style. I'll be using this sharing pitcher with a filter on top. I've got my tea pet to support me along the way. Here is the gaiwan I will be using to brew the tea and the little teacup I will be using. First, I will rinse these out, pour a little hot water throughout all of these vessels just to kind of clean things up. And once again, trying to follow the instructions, but I think this is actually a little bit too much. But we're going to use it, and we're going to see what happens. So I'm going to use the same temperature. Here's kind of like a low direct pour, or my attempt at a low direct pour. And this first infusion is 30 seconds. So we'll let that sit for 30 seconds. I'm so glad I have this filter to go over this pitcher, because that tea is so fine. This is what it looks like after having been brewed for 30 seconds. Very pretty. And look how much that the filter caught. But here we go. Here's the first infusion. It looks kind of similar to the Western style color, but maybe a little richer. And right off the bat here, it was much stronger. And that may be because the ratio of tea to water, but also it was just for 30 seconds. So I don't know, I'm not an expert, but I will say this was much stronger than the Western style right off the bat. And as we go in for round 2, all we're going to do is add 20 seconds to this infusion, and we'll see how much that changes up the result. Now, I must admit this pour was really terrible. This is kind of like a failure. The filter got clogged, so I had to put the gaiwan down, clear the filter, and then try this again. But we got a pretty good yield. But the first thing you should notice right off the bat is how dark this one was. This was much darker than the first time. So as a comparison, I'll put these side by side. you can see it got much darker after that second steep. So I can only guess it's going to be a little bit stronger. And I must admit, it was very strong. It was very strong. So I'm thinking I'll experiment some more. I'll see where this goes, but my tea to water ratio may have been off a little bit. But that's the fun thing about doing tea and experimenting with some stuff. You can see what works for you. You can see the wrong ways to do it, the right ways to do it. But ultimately, it was a very good, high quality tea. Another really cool thing is the Mei Leaf website. After I had ordered this bag of Melon Kabusecha, I got an account, and I can keep track of where I am with my tea journey. Here's what my dashboard looks like. At the moment, my rank is the Courageous Goat, and this is based off the number of seeds that you get. Looks like next will be the Wind Summoning Fish, and this is based off of the 18 seeds that I got after buying that first bag of tea. And there's obviously many other categories to select from. But let me give you a closer look at my tea collection, where there's some fun features. Here's that Melon Kabusecha that I bought. It gives you the description. And if you go down here to this action button, you can actually add some tasting notes. So I'm going to try to put in some comprehensive tasting notes that I experienced while doing the Western and the Gong Fu. I will say ultimately, using this Melon Kabusecha, I enjoyed the Gong Fu style the best, and I think that's what I'm going to use going forward with this tea. The Western was fine, but I had a little bit more fun doing the Gong Fu style, and I think I got more out of the tea by doing this. Hope you enjoyed this video, and definitely check out Mei Leaf.